Okay, so it says that it's connecting live. I'm trying to do something really interesting. I'm seeing if I can go live from Instagram and Facebook at the same time. So, we were going to do a more extensive chip recipe earlier in the day, but I got exciting news, and at 6 p.m. Central Time tonight, I'm going to go live stream with Dr. Ken Berry. So we're going to do our quick recipe now, and instead of getting together at dinner time for food, we're going to get together for Q&A. So we are going to do, at my house the other day, I made with you guys some Frank's Red Hot Mix, and we're almost out of that. And it's one of my favorite chip replacements, so we're going to do that again today. So we're going to start with a mix of the nuts that I have at my house. Now, I use a little bit of cashew, less than other nuts because they're a higher carb, but we do really, really like the flavor of them. And then we're going to add some walnuts. I hope you guys are excited for the weekend. I love Friday. Oh, and by the way, the dance lights are from last night's karaoke dance party, and I decided that I really like them. So, that's what it's going to be at my house today, because it's Friday and I feel like sparkly. So, then we're going to add some peanuts to that. And again, not a lot of peanuts. They're not my favorite nut, and they are a little bit higher in carbs. And then we're going to add some of my absolute favorite, which is pecans. And then I think we're going to add a little tiny bit of my liquid gold nuts, my macadamia nuts. Now, I love them, but they cost me like $12 for this little container. So I use them very, very sparingly, and we call them liquid gold nuts at my house. So we're going to add just a couple of those in there. And then we're going to add my last favorite, if I can find them. I'm looking for my pumpkin seeds. This is what happens when you have too many containers in your house. And I might have used the last of the ones that I had out. Okay, no pumpkin seeds today. I was going to add some, but I don't see them. And then we'll add just a couple of hazelnuts. Okay, so to our nut mix, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of rendered bacon fat. And I'm using a teaspoon because I don't have a clean tablespoon, but about a tablespoon's worth. And then we're just going to put that in the microwave till it melts the bacon grease. I find about 40 seconds does it usually, and I'm going to turn the oven on while that's happening because I forgot to preheat that. And we just need it on to broil. So while that's happening, I'm going to show you guys, we're going to do some quick salami chips as well. Now, we're just going to make a couple. I have a couple slices of salami left over from last night. I've got 3 slices. So we're just going to cut them in half to make salami chips. Now, I've pre-prepared my paper towel, and we're going to layer our salami chips on that and then throw them in the microwave. And it's just going to make 6 quick chips. If I was making more, I would prepare more paper towel. But basically, you just want enough for them to lay out flat. And as soon as I get them all laid out, I'll show you guys. You can overlap them a tiny bit, but they will stick together if you overlap them by too much. So that's what they look like on the paper towel. And we're just going to throw those in the microwave for 1 minute. Oh, and we need to melt that bacon fat a little bit longer, so we're going to turn that back on for a second. And then we're going to make some quick cheese chips. Now, I pre-grated up just some mozzarella, and we're going to use a round plate for that. And I know it sounds weird, but it's the quickest, easiest way I know how to make chips. Pepperoni chips are awesome. Salami are my favorite. Yay, I'm so excited to have people hanging out. Now, I tried to do this live on Facebook at the same time in our group, and it says something went wrong with the live. So I don't know if it's recording. I think it says it's recording. So fingers crossed. Oh, this might end up in our group too. So we're just spreading a little bit of cheese on the plate, and not lots, just a little bit to cover our little plate here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other smaller plate with a mixed, this one's just a marble. I just shredded up some marble. You guys can use any cheese that you like. Any melting cheese will work. So if you love the fancy cheeses, go nuts. I like to try different kinds of cheeses every now and then. So this one is just the marble, and this one we're going to make into a jalapeno bacon chip. These ones are just going to be mozzarella. Now let me swap out our microwave again. So these are nuts with just the rendered bacon grease on them, and the salami chips are going in the microwave for 1 minute. Now let's set this aside. Now, with this, we're going to add, Frank's Red Hot is our favorite flavor here, so I'm just going to sprinkle a bunch of it in there. And we're going to put the lid on it. And we're just going to give it a nice shake so that it gets all nice and evenly coated in there. And then we're just going to put these into the oven to broil. And once they're all nice and toasty brown, they're done. When I do the sweet flavors, I use coconut oil instead, and then cinnamon and sweetener to taste. And then the same thing, you just put them in the oven to broil until your raw nuts are nice and browned. So I'm going to give that another little shake. And you can use any nuts that you want. And if you're nut free, I do a similar process with seeds as well. So this is my nutless mixture, and this is a mix of hemp heart and dark and blonde flax and pumpkin and sesame seeds. So same thing, if it's savory, I use the rendered bacon fat. If it's sweet, I use coconut oil. And this is probably the quickest snack I can throw together at my house, and everybody loves them. So we've got that all ready, and we're just going to put it onto a cookie sheet that has parchment paper on it. And we're going to spread them out a little bit. And I like to put an extra sprinkle of seasoning on at this point. And again, that depends on the taste for your house, but we like it spicy around here. So at this point, I do just an extra sprinkle on the top. Let me do that so I can pat it while it goes. And this powdered Frank's Red Hot I found at Costco. And we absolutely love it in our house, and we use it on everything. So I'm going to tilt you guys down so you can see the nuts are all done and ready. And I'm going to pop these into the oven, and we're going to take a peek at our salami chips. Okay, and again, those are in the oven just broiling. Okay. And our salami chips are already ready. So we'll set those aside to put on a plate. Now, our white mozzarella we're going to put in the microwave. I usually start 30 seconds at a time. So we're going to start the first 30 seconds. And I'll show you guys. It usually takes between a minute and 20 seconds depending on your microwave. And then our second one is set up with the cheese. And we're going to make a larger plate as well. Same idea. We're just using the round plate. And I've got my pre-grated up marble cheese. And you just want a thin layer. You're not going for a whole plate of cheese, otherwise you won't get a nice thin chip. And it's going to depend on the size of your plate and the kind of cheese you use as to how long it takes. If you want to skip this step and you don't want to grate your cheese, that is possible too. Hands up for, people who want to skip a step. You can just slice it thin off of the block and put slices on your plate as well. So let's grab out our first one. Okay, so this is our first 30 seconds. We're going to put it in for about another 30. It's not all melted all the way through yet, and it'll melt and it'll get all nice and bubbly. So we're going to put it in for another 30 seconds. Now, I don't find I need a parchment paper or anything like that under the cheese because of the natural oil that's in the cheese. Once it comes off the plate, if I cool it a little bit, I can just slice it with a pizza slicer and make little chips out of it. So this one is the one we're going to use for bacon and jalapeno. And I just have some dried jalapeno that I buy at Bulk Barn. And I put a pinch into a shot glass with some water to help it expand. So in the halfway in between, we're going to put the jalapeno and the bacon on that one. Okay, so then you guys can see it's nicely browned there. We're going to let it cool a little bit, and then I'll slide it off the plate and cut it. But it was that easy. It's just a little bit of cheese on a plate in the microwave for 1 minute. So we're going to put in the small marble plate for 30 seconds. And I'm going to scoop out this little bit of jalapeno. Or not. Let's get creative, Dory. There we go. Onto the paper towel. And I just dried a pinch of it. It expands quite a bit when it's in the water. So, and again, we like spicy, but not, you know, I don't want anybody to burn their face off eating them either. So we've got just a little bit of jalapeno there. Okay, so this one is the marble cheddar, and I'm going to just pop our little pieces of jalapeno around in there and just kind of poke them into the cheese in different spots. That one's kind of a big piece. I think I'll save that piece. Okay. And then we're just going to sprinkle it with a little bit of crumbled bacon. Okay. And then we're going to pop it back into the microwave for about, I'm going to say we're going to try 10 seconds to start. Okay. And these ones are just going to be cheddar. So when those ones are done, these ones are going to go in. And I wanted to do one other thing for you guys quick. Now, I crave popcorn really bad. I don't know about you guys. And I have been searching for a good popcorn replacement. And I can't say I've hit it aces yet. But I found a couple options that work for me. So I want to share them with you guys. Let me grab this out of the microwave. Okay, so our jalapeno bacon ones are done. We're just going to let them cool for a couple minutes on the plate over here with the mozzarella ones. And we're going to put the marble cheddar into the microwave. Now that one's a bigger plate, so I'm going to start it for 45 seconds for the first time. And I'm going to show you guys now. Prerequisite for this plan, you kind of gotta like pork rinds. But I love them, and pork rinds are definitely one of the things that I was like, what? I'm allowed those? They used to be a guilty pleasure. So we're going to take some and we're going to just break them up more into a popcorn bite size as opposed to a big full rind. Feel free to leave them big too if you want. When I want the feel of popcorn, I want something that's more of a popcorn bite size. My other favorite thing to make with these, and I don't know if you guys have seen the recipe or not yet, it's called caramel pork rind cereal, and it is phenomenal. And it's basically just a caramel sauce that you put over top of your pork rinds and then bake them. Okay, so we've got our little pieces of pork rind. Now, we're only going to do like one quick, easy step to make them more popcorny. I'm going to, popcorny, oh, I love that. I'm going to give them a quick spray with my cooking spray, which is my extra virgin olive oil cooking spray. And then we're going to sprinkle some popcorn salt on them. Some movie theater popcorn salt. And we're going to do a second batch with a Frank's Red Hot. So we're just going to give them a light little spray so that the seasoning will stick to them. You don't want them to get soggy, which is why I'm using a cooking spray as opposed to, say, a rendered bacon fat or something like that. And I was thinking about it the other day when I was debating about, you know, the chemicals that are in these. And I was thinking, if you got one of the little squirt bottles from the dollar store, you probably could just put your own olive oil in there and spray that and avoid the different chemically stuff. So, with the popcorn seasoning, it's got more of a popcorn flavor to it. So, that's flavor one. I'm going to, oh, bump you guys there. Okay, so this is the halfway on our other cheese chips. We're going to put them in for another 30 seconds. And while that's happening, I'm going to take a quick peek on the nuts. Okay, they're at the halfway too. So I'm going to let you guys see they're nice and toasted on the top. I'm going to give them a quick stir and pop them back in for another minute or two. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to say, see how it's nice and bubbly around the edges, but it's still just kind of melty in the middle? You want it to be bubbly all the way through. So we're going to put it back in for another 30 seconds. And while that's happening, we will do our second flavor of pork rinds. Let me just grab a bag to put flavor one into. So this one is our popcorn seasoning flavored pork rinds. And I'm just going to pop them into a bag. And any flavored seasoning that you love, feel free to experiment with lots of different flavors. So that's that one. And we're going to do a Frank's Red Hot for me as well because I love the powdered Franks. So same thing, we're just going to take the pieces. This time I'm not going to waste my time breaking them up for you guys. I'm just going to throw a couple pieces on there. And I'm going to spray it lightly with the cooking spray and sprinkle it with my Frank's Red Hot seasoning. Okay. Give them a little toss in the seasoning so you guys can see it sticks on there really, really nice. So we'll pop those ones into another bag. And those ones are ready to go, you know, they can go to work. They're great for lunches. Quick and easy if you know, just want something that's a little bit different for a snack that doesn't take you, you know, an hour to make. And then you save the money on the specialty flavors too. Buy one bag and then make all your different flavors for yourself. Okay, so I'm going to take this garbage out of the way and I'm going to grab us our cheese chips and our nuts out of the oven. Yay, Eureka! Okay, see how it's bubbly all in the middle? We're going to let this one cool and we're going to take the other two off. Now I'm just going to slide them onto a parchment paper because that's the easiest way to slice them. Okay. I've got too much mess on the go here. We got to get some of this out of the room. Okay. Yay, victory. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a butter knife and I'm going to start at the edges and loosen it around. Now, you can use a spatula for this too. This also works really, really well. I don't know if mine's clean. Oh, it is, yay. Oh, look at me, I'm a hero. So once you get under the edge, you can just scrape it off of your plate and slide it onto the parchment paper. And you're going to let it cool just a little bit more. And then we're going to slice it into chips. Okay, so I'll hold it up so you guys can see. So now we've got it on the parchment paper. And we're going to do the same thing with our mozzarella one. We're just going to loosen around the edge first. And this one doesn't seem to be quite as fatty of a cheese. This is the first time I've used the mozzarella, but what I like about it is it's going to be a crisper chip. I can tell already by the texture coming off of the plate that it's going to be a more crisp chip. So I'm actually really excited about that already. Okay, so that's this one. So we'll set it on the parchment paper to cool. And then I'll grab out the nuts to show you guys those. So they're all ready and they're browned and they're all done. We're going to let them cool a little bit. Now, the bit of bacon grease that you put on there is going to absorb in. They're not going to be all greasy. You can see in the jar that it absorbs into the spices and the nuts. So we're just going to let those cool, and then they go into a jar or a plastic bag. They'll keep longer in a glass jar, so I recommend storing them inside of a glass jar. And while this last one is cooling, and I think sometimes I would put it in the fridge, but I find that when you cool the cheese chips, they get kind of weird. So I'm just going to cross my fingers and hope we can slice that one before we finish. And I'm just going to slice these ones for you guys now so that you can see. So I'm just going to use my pizza slicer and I'm going to cut them into tortilla chips. And this is something I did with my teenager too. So this is a quick snack that your kids can make for themselves after school as well, that they don't necessarily need your supervision for. It's cheese and a plate and the microwave. So they might not need, depending on age, of course. I don't want to say, yeah, let your 3-year-old make their own melted cheese. But this is what the mozzarella ones look like. And you can make them crispier as well. So it depends on how crisp you like them at your house. And I'm going to slice up the cheese and bacon jalapeno ones. Now these ones need to sit a little bit longer. They look more like a soggy chip right now, but when they cool completely, they'll crisp up a little bit better like this mozzarella. And I do find that it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The oily cheeses work nicer for some chips, and the drier cheeses work better for others. For example, Parmesan cheese crisps are really, really nice. And that's a very dry cheese in comparison. Okay, let me see if I can get a tray under that so that I can lift it up for you guys to see. Oh, look at how smooth I am. Oh, smooth, smooth. So these are our bacon jalapeno ones, and like I said, they need to firm up a little bit. Still, they're a little soggy right now. But once they set completely, you'll be able to spoon a dip onto them, and the mozzarella ones are a little bit firmer already. Now, last night we made a couple dips, so I'm not going to make any new dip tonight, but I'll show you guys what I did make for last night's dips. Well, I might end up making some more dip later. This one is a double pickle dill, and it is equal parts sour cream, mayo, and then I added a half of a cut up pickle and some fresh dill. And this one is a pre-mix, so again, half mayo, half sour cream, and then add your pre-mix dip to it. But that's what we're going to have with our chips tonight. So let's see if I can get this one off of here to show you guys. And if not, I will let it cool for another 15 minutes and post pictures of it on my feed. And I don't know what you guys are doing tonight, but I'm super hoping that you can join me with Dr. Barry tonight, because I'm really excited to get some more questions answered by him. It's been a couple weeks since we've been able to schedule something together, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm full of questions since New Year's. So I have lots of new people asking new things, and you know what? I'm always curious too. And if I'm going to get information, I want to get it from the best possible source. Okay, so what do I do with my butter knife? There it is. Ha! So we're going to start again by just loosening at the edges. And I think this one's going to be not too bad. I think I can get it off now for you guys. So we're going to loosen around the edges and then take our spatula. Now, if you're worried it's going to fall apart, this is what I'm going to say. Roll it up as you go, and then it won't fall apart. Scoop it off and roll it back out on the parchment like so. Okay, now because this is still somewhat setting cheese, you can still adjust a little bit your shape at this point by just kind of pressing it together. Now I am going to let this one set a little bit more before I slice it, and I will post the pictures of that. But that's what it looks like, and we're going to let it set just a little bit more and then cut that into chips. So for tonight we're having our regular marble cheese chips, and we're having bacon, put it on top of there, bacon jalapeno cheese chips and mozza chips. Then we're going to have some lovely salami chips with that. And our 2 flavors of pork rinds. We've got the Frank's Red Hot pork rinds and the popcorn salt pork rinds. And then we have our hot and spicy nut mix. So, it was awesome hanging out with you guys. I hope we get to hang out tonight. And drop a comment and let me know what food you guys want to do for tomorrow. Because like always, Dory doesn't plan ahead. So if there's a food you guys are dying to try, it can be either a food genre like Mexican food. It can be a type of food like beef or pork or fish, or seafood. It can be a vegetable if there's a favorite vegetable that you want to try. So let me know and we'll hang out tomorrow. The earlier you guys let me know, the more likely I can get groceries to do it. We're coming to that point in the month. I know you guys are running short too, so we'll pull together something fun for tomorrow and get your questions ready tonight, guys. It's going to be 6 p.m. Central, and I'm going to be going live from here and from Facebook under the Keto for Beginners group. Fingers crossed. I'm going to try to figure out how to do both. So have a great day, guys, and I can't wait to hang out with you tonight. Yay, Friday night! See you later, guys.